Ladies and gentlemen of viewers, let's welcome Rex Magnus Danquah. Say, how are you?
I'm fine.
And how's life?
Oh, not bad.
Not bad at all.
Generally, you can't, not that you have to complain, you can't complain because the future is just unfolding. Too many changes, too many new things, and you can only sit back, watch and see the direction and follow it.
70 years, you've done it all. How would you describe yourself as a gentleman, as a man, as a father, probably as a grandfather, as a marketer, public relations officer, your dealings, your religion, everything in 2 minutes? How would you describe it?
Life is a certain mystery that we hardly have time to look at it and discuss it as such. You are born, before you are aware, primary school, middle school, secondary school, university, and they just keep coming, and then you grow, you marry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then start counting the grandchildren to 9. Then you see that, no, it's a whole different thing. But 70, you are not too sure whether you are closer to the end or far away from the end. And then the fact also that everybody comes here for a reason. Yeah. Sometimes we get lost without finding the reason. If you find the reason why you are here, you are the best man ever, because then you understand why you are here. If you don't find it and don't even know why you are here and you leave it, that's when you are getting older, then, not that you are scared, but then you look back and all the years that you could have done something different for why you are here and you are not ready for it. It's a certain dichotomy. I don't know many people who can answer that. But I've enjoyed a little bit of it, that one. No, I don't have any regrets, doubts. No, I've enjoyed every moment.
Well, just before I get to the questions that probably we need to talk about, how would you describe your service to the nation so far? I mean, that's it. I mean, in every aspect, in business, in banking, in marketing, power relationship, how would you describe your service to the nation?
I'm not too sure. Just recently, I was trying to go back. Then I remember that as the first WDC chairman, Workers' Defense Committee chairman, that's 1980-something. And then I look at myself, am I revolutionary enough? Yes, I can stand up to anybody. That one, I think it's a gift, because right is right, wrong is wrong. But when I look back, I think it's a journey that I've enjoyed every bit of it. You remember E.T. Mensah? Very well. I was the right-hand man of E.T. Mensah. I don't even know how we met, but he came looking for me, and after that, E.T. will not go anywhere without me. And then whatever it is, you tell you go and see him and talk to him. And then after that, then Zaibu, PNDC time. Yeah, so it was Zaibu, Sarah Mensah, then E.T. 2 terms. But I've enjoyed every journey. Some ministers I've had differences with, seriously. Some, for the sake of Ghana, I just overlook some of the things. But it was all these times that I realized that there's such power that I have that I didn't even know I have. Because it's easy within those turbulent moments to want to fight a minister, not physically, purely on points of view. And then the minister will call you later and say that, no, it's okay, let's let it go. But so is life. Okay. It's the way you want to see your contribution to life itself, to your society, to your family, and to the nation. But most importantly, to the nation. Because why were you not born in the UK to be white or Swiss or something? And here, you need to question that. If you question that, then you can understand why you are here. Yeah. But if you take it for granted that, oh, your mother is a Ghanaian, your father is a Ghanaian, so you are Ghanaian, that's not it. The old man knows why he puts anybody anywhere. For a reason. Okay. And that one, you need to answer it for yourself, especially when you are growing and you are getting close to 70.
Okay. We're getting closer to the questions or the reason why we are here, but how were you able to secure or mastermind that 208 Cup of Nations for Ghana, a lot of people, especially the Gen Zs, have been asking. That's the last time they saw it here in Ghana. I mean, some of them were not even born by that time, sorry. But how were you able to strategize that move to secure that right for Ghana? That's the last time we staged it.
Yeah. I think I like dreaming a lot. I mean, I've dreamt to a World Cup being held in Ghana, and around 2000, we're thinking of Ghana, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, World Cup. So we even had.
Say it again. 2000, you were dreaming of a World Cup against
Ghana. Yeah, 2000. Mm-hmm. In fact, before 2000, Ghana 99, the African Youth Championship. Yeah. You know, that was when we were able to do it that nicely. That then Issa had problems with Zimbabwe, yeah. And we were hosting the CAF executive meeting in Zimbabwe. And if you go to a hostile nation, they can remove you as president. Yeah. So he wanted a country that he's sure he has everybody. So we worked it out and removed the games from 2000 from Zimbabwe. But then we're not ready with the four. Yeah. So then we brought Nigeria in. That's the first co-hosting. Yeah. Of Ghana, Nigeria for AFCON. Yeah. So whilst we're looking at this and the co-hosting was possible, I said, no, but we could then have the World Cup. Because then you take to Cote d'Ivoire is just close. So you go to Cote d'Ivoire, then Nigeria, then Senegal in the corner. So from there, I started working on how we can host the World Cup.
That's quite interesting, eh?
Yeah. And so it's easy to look at the logistics and see, no, this way and that way. In fact, I have a paper done for the World Cup 2042 because they've given the World Cup up to 2038. The only available one is 2042. I mean, I'm not sure I'll be around by then. But the beauty is that you conceived it and got it done. And that is what drives me at this moment. So I've done the paper and I've given it to friends in government that we should look at it. And then there's a roadmap. We should bring the people in and start discussing so that we can put in the bid to co-host the 2042 World Cup with Ghana. And then brought it to Ghana.
But I mean, you ended up being the CEO of the games. So how happy were you the night you realized that Ghana has won it?
Oh, there were too many things I had learned over the years, especially with the Youth Championship. Ghana 99, there were quite a number of people I had met. So when in various discussions at the ministry, we thought we were going to host it, then I had to go to Egypt. And then we talked to friends, and they said, no, it's possible. At least nobody has shown any interest at that time for 208. Unfortunately for us, the first person, a friend that I talked to, was an Egyptian. Okay. So whilst he said, okay, you go ahead, they also applied for the 208. But that one I didn't know. So I looked at the executive committee, those who vote. Those times it was just executive committee. And then we had gotten about 11, like we needed just one. And then Egypt has started also canvassing. But there are things I do. I don't think I'm a spy, but there are things I do. I remember in various discussions, I can't speak French. So, and most of the times, the CAF people will be speaking French, knowing that I don't understand French. So they will say the French, and then the English person will ask me a question. So when I realized that they think in French and then ask the question in English, I came and looked for a French Ghanaian, but a Fanti. Yeah. Okay. So we go and sit in the meeting, and as they are saying the French, then he's also saying it to me in Fanti. So
that was a smart one.
Yeah, so the plot was, if we go and Ghana hasn't gotten the budget, Kojuban Redu, the figures in the budget, it means they won't give it to us. It means we are not ready. And also, the minister should have it in a policy something. And we left the meeting around 11 to 12 midnight. So I called the Safmafo then and told Safmafo, I want to come and see him because there's something we need to discuss for the following day. And this is what I've heard. So I'm telling him, so that when the people come, you should look for the evidence and give it to them. Then I called Kojoban Redu also, and these are people I've known in my youthful days in Kumasi, so it was easy to call anybody at any time. And I said they want to see it in the budget as a line item. If there isn't, then you know that you cannot do it. Then I said, oh, don't worry. Unfortunately for us, in the morning when we go to Safumanfo, as soon as he opened his office door, he started attacking the people. And the people were confused. Because as far as they are concerned, nobody knows what is going on. They didn't say anything. Then went to Kojoban Redu, he showed them, and then that was it. So when we went for the voting in Egypt, I was standing in the corridor to see Issa Hatu. When a white guy, French, I went to my French agents, okay. So a white guy, French, came and stood by my assistant and started speaking French. And stupidly, because we didn't know what was happening, he also answered. They said, oh, now they understand how I could know what they were planning to be able to. Yeah, but in a short thing, there was a certain respect that for you to think that way, no, you can do anything you assure them. And so it was easy. So one virtually the votes, less one for Egypt.
Okay. Let me ask you a question before we get to the one I want to talk about. Was it a success, looking back, years back?
It was, because that was the first time we tested merchandising with all the rights. And I remember I was in court once, and the judge there is a judge who has now become a Chief Justice. So whilst we were in court, I think some of the companies thought that I'd shortchanged them and things, because nobody understood merchandising well, except for me, that I knew what I wanted. Okay, so it was easy for me to decide on the fee and charge, and I know. Like the trophy tour. You know, before then, nobody has ever done the trophy tour. Okay. It just crossed my mind in one meeting with Issa Hatu and Mustafa Famin and the whole executive committee. And I asked for the trophy. Then Mustafa Famin said, what do you need the trophy for? Then Issa Hatu said, all these years, nobody has ever asked for the trophy. This young guy comes, you want a trophy, and you say no. Well, let's give it to him. Honestly, I didn't know that it was the real gold. So I came, and it was in my office, and things. The day that National Security got to know that it was real gold, they came and collected it from the office for safekeeping at the Bank of Ghana. But it was easy to dream of anything, and they agreed. And that was why it was a success. Because as a young person, anything that comes into my mind, I think is possible. Then I'll write it and seek their approval. So the trophy tour, it hasn't been done before. Around that time, a friend in banking told me that they were bringing Stanbic to Ghana. And that it was South Africa then. And that they wanted to go to other African countries. So I talked about the football and said, no, I can get you the trophy. That you go to every other African country with the trophy to open new branches, Stanbic branch. And that was a major thing. So you could see that there was a blue corner in the stand opposite the main. That was the Stanbic stand. And again, that was a major coup for the tournament.
So are you saying that the AFCON 28 brought Stanbic to Ghana?
That was when Stanbic was coming. So it was part of the strategy to use that, the trophy, and then to expand into other African countries. And I even went to Stanbic head office in South Africa to discuss all those things for them to be sure that we are on the same page of what we wanted to do.
Let's talk about facilities and how to manage them. There's been several quarters calling for the privatization of sports facilities here in Ghana. You know, in terms of how to do management in terms of sports and amenities here and there. Let me put that question to you. Do you subscribe to that session that we need to privatize, especially our stadiums and others? Do you subscribe to that?
My real profession, technically, is estates. I did the land economy, and I even did my master's. In fact, 1 week to my graduation, to submit my thesis projects, and then that was when Olinspobi, you remember, he was the director, the chairman of Sports Council then. I think they were having problems with stadium management and things, so they had gone around University of Ghana and University of Cape Coast. So the third place was University of University of Science and Technology, and they are going to every department. So they came to our department, land economy and estate management, that they wanted somebody who could understand stadia and things to employ the person. Then the professor said that there's this young guy here, everything about the department, he does it. In fact, the head of department, every speech I write. Okay. And when I have finished writing and I give it to him, he will tell me that add your name after you wrote it and go and speak for me. To my mind, he wanted me to stay there and be a lecturer, which I didn't want to. I thought I was a free spirit. So when Olinspobi came and talked about they wanting an university graduate to look at the stadium facilities in Ghana, they called me. And there and then, after the questions and all the things I said, he gave me an appointment letter and some money that young guy I've never seen before. So I actually left my master's thesis there. I never went back. And that is how I came into sports, starting from Kumasi Stadium.
Very, very interesting.
So at that point, it was just an interest that I was following, or a dream that I was following. But because of estate, I understood properties well, and stadia and all. So the things I was saying looked through ahead of people. You understand? There's no point in building a stadium and trying to manage it. You don't get money. The one that you rent it out to somebody and charge the person a rent that you are assured every month, every quarter, every half year, every year, without doing anything, that's money. But how they manage the stadia with the kind of people that they have at the Sports Council to Sports Authority, no. The sports, 208, there were corporate boxes that we gave out. And for the period of the tournament, the corporate box was $150,000. So look at all of them. That was a lot of money. And what we did was we gave them food and everything, drinks, wine, champagne, whatever. I mean, it was not even 1/10 of how much we charged. 50,000 per the number of corporate boxes we had in Kumasi, in Sekendi, Takoradi, Supon, and then Tamale. So why would you want to manage the thing yourself? And then you have staff sitting in the corporate boxes because there's a shower there, there's everything there, fridges and stoves and things. No, give it out. You understand? And then there are sports authority buildings. Just set up the headquarters there and give it out to somebody. Because when you have it, you know how to manage things there to make the money that you can pay your rent and still make some profits. The way they are, there's nothing they lose if there's no money, because they have to take every money from government. I don't believe in that.
In a nutshell, you subscribe to privatization of the...
Definitely. If you ask me 100 times, even if I'm asleep, I'll give you the same answer. Because that's the only way you can make money to even run the sports programs and things that you want to do. But then if you go out, most of the time people are running conferences and things. In fact, one lane, you can have about 4 conferences running concurrent. Because the person needs the money to come and pay your rent. So the person will go to any extent for any activity or anything to be able to come and pay your rent. You are not motivated in any way. Because even if there's no money, government will pay you. That's the wrong way of thinking.
Okay. Well, after 2023 African Games, there's a notion that Ghana should bid to host more international sporting events. Do you think as a country we'll be ready, or we should even bid for more of them?
The people who say that, they don't know what goes into it. You understand? Before you go out to secure the rights to even bid, you are supposed to do a project paper for cabinet. In that project paper, you state the expectations of income that you are going to get against costs. And cabinet will make sure that at worst you break even. At worst. But because the facilities are still there. But otherwise, at least there should be a certain profit coming to you, which might come in terms of the facilities that now you have for Ghanaians to be able to train there without going out of the country to train and all. And you have to go back after event to the same cabinet, to the cabinet subcommittee on sport, with the result to show. Before the games, you are expected to organize all kinds of activities across the country. Not so much of unearthing new talents. So it's not business as usual that those people who are outside that you usually call them last minute to come. No. It's a platform for new talents. And that nobody did. And I've known, at least I've been associated with sports for how many years? So I've seen all kinds of talents that have come from villages that you have no idea what is there. Abetifi Mustang, that's Abetifi. For the Mustang to be unearthed from there. And all kinds of talents that are everywhere. Because the old man gives every tribe or every people gifts. You understand? And until you're able to go around to check all these things, you will not know what gifts are there. Especially people who stay high mountains. They can run faster without breaking because of the height. The heart can condition anything. And that's how we look for talent. Not that the one that is just Accra here. That's why even the national associations, most times it's only 2 regions that they are. And then you are national association. You're supposed to go to at least more than half the number of regions to look for talents because they are all part of the nation. You understand? So you unearth talents from every region, sometimes region that you have never gone there before. Because I've seen people from villages score goals from beyond center line. Because in the villages, they can just shoot. Now, with even the AstroTurf, most times you allow people to just go and build without making sure the specifications are right. So if you stand on a shorter pitch and score a goal from center line, you think you are that good. When you stand on proper pitch, you shoot, it doesn't even go near. You understand? Because it's a different measurement. And we've allowed our people to train on wrong measurements, so when you put them on proper pitches, then they flop. Because the smaller pitches, they run it about 200 times. Bigger pitch, you run 2 and you are tired. And we are just, sincerely, we are just not serious with it. It's good business, sincerely. But it has to be run in a certain way. And once you run in a certain way, you will make the money. And that is what 208 showed me. And 208, we did the 209 Hockey Cup of Nations too. You understand? So that one, anytime I will get it right.
Brands manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
We are still in the presence of the man who knows it all when it comes to sports, marketing and branding, discussing various national issues all the way from 2008 to 2024. Ghana hosted the the African Games 2023. There have been so many issues. Well, after that, the chairman of the LOC indicated that they are going to transform the Boteman enclave or sports into a university. What's your thought on the organization of the African Games vis-a-vis what he said and what we should do next?
Do you know University Sports College?
Very well.
You've gone there how many times?
Several times. It's close to my mother's hometown.
Yeah, with all the dormitories, all the pitches. What is the current state?
Not describable.
So that is how you are going to do Boteman. That's the University Sports College. That's where even the national teams were camping. It means at that time, the facilities were to that height. You understand? If you allow that one to run to the states, what guarantee that Boteman will not be the same? Two, when we were planning for Boteman, in fact, they couldn't find the site plan. But with the contacts with land economy, and then I was able to find it. Because it was a planned area. You understand? It's a planned area before the construction. If you start from Tetakwashi, that you are going to watch the games, just calculate the traffic that it will take you from Tetakwashi through to get there. And then when you are done, how to go home. You understand? If you go straight to join the motorway, you have to go to Tama to turn around and come back to Accra. You understand? Okay. If you want to use such a place, then you restrict it to a number of events, which they did. But the other one was also Legon, which is just that. In fact, Legon, we had engaged Legon much earlier, because we thought of the African Games much earlier than when it happened. So the Legon people have started using cards to access rooms. You understand? The only thing we were planning was the quality of the room for the sportsmen, especially coming from various countries and things, and then eating that we thought if we condone off the 4 halls and leave a space, we could have everything there. I heard all kinds of stories, but that's a different matter. The fact of the matter is that games are not just you bid for and then you host it. It should have a certain target. And that is what, when you go to cabinet to meet the subcommittee, they ask. Because cabinet expects you that at least you should break even. And that if you won't break even, whatever they are, you recover it in a number of years because you organize various things to make up the money. And for the people who were there, nobody went to cabinet. I did. You understand? I had good reason for leaving it. But I had committed myself that it can be done this way, done that way, that way. So the question you ask is the wrong person you're asking. But I can conjecture because people don't see beyond events. That's the mistake of the African. Events is like you giving birth. Because all the planning that goes to is like a woman in the labor and this and that and that. And that's how I conceive events. Because after you've given birth to it that day, so what happens? Now everybody is playing the league and things are gone. Yeah, because it was a Dugon thing, and I started that one even with Professor George Bennett when he was a vice chancellor years ago. That's why I'm virtually alive to almost everything in the country. You need to understand events and how they are organized to know that we technically failed with Africa Games.
I want to say, did you say technically we failed with why?
Technically we failed. You see, you are organizing with the representation of Ghana. If you had been able to organize prior Africa Games on every region to look for talent, you're unearthing new talents, giving them the platform even to go into universities outside the norm. Not the old athletes coming. There's nothing wrong with it. But they run international circuits. So whilst they are here, and I saw it in Morocco, as soon as they collect the other foreigners, Nigerians and things, as soon as they collect their allowances for the Morocco African Games, they feign injury. The next moment they are gone because they are going to run in an international meet that will give them, a certain marking. You understand? We haven't actually organized the Africa Games to get us to that level. That's why most of the top people don't come. Because the level of the Africa Games should go about 5 notches up. Yeah. So that when you run in Africa Games, you easily qualify for the Olympic Games. Or you easily qualify the Pan-American Games. Or European Games. And if you don't plan with that in mind, then it's just the games. That's almost the South Africans could decide that we are not saying anymore, we are going, or things like that. It's the thought behind it that we need to get it right. And when you get it right, you see that anytime you push Ghana up for a continental something, almost everybody will come.
Well, let's talk about the new sports minister, Kofi Adda. He took over some weeks ago, and he's doing a lot of stuff. What must he do to reform sports in Ghana? What must he do as a sports minister?
Okay, I'll go back to my own history from the PNDC time. I've done with Zayobo. I've done with Sarah Mensah. Before E.T. Mensah, the longest, also E.T. Mensah, I owe him so much, the longest, and almost every sports minister. When you come, there are too many people waiting at your door to come with all kinds of ideas. Some are party people, some are not party people, some are people who are looking for opportunities to sell one thing or the other. Some are people who think that the nation owes them and they have a certain right to the table. But one thing I know of politics, and I've been around for quite a while, you should have a vision of what you want to achieve there. I know the minister has. And I know he will do the right thing. He will not do the wrong thing. I think that sometimes, if you want to proffer advice, you leave him the room for him to have a better appreciation of the situation, assess what can be done, because all kinds of people will go with stories. So assess all these stories for him to see where he wants to place Ghana. If he's able to tell you where he wants to place Ghana in either all the disciplines or what, then you know. What is even worse is that they've decoupled youth from you, and now it's sports and recreation. It's a whole different ball game now, because it's strictly business. You understand? Strictly business to the extent that people are coming to see opportunities to make business, grow their companies and all. And that, for me, is where the real work is. It's not impossible. You understand? Because when we started with the 208s, with the merchandising, it was very successful. And I arrested people. We need now to draw the guidelines for people. All associations and federations should register their images and their processes. If you want to do it just Ghana, it's a different matter. If you want to do it just Ghana and Africa, it's a different matter. If you want to do global, it's a fee and a cost. I did can do it for global. And I had all kinds of permutations. I wanted to make sure you cannot dribble me. So I do 28 can 2008, all kinds of permutations. Anything that you could possibly think of, I thought of it. And included that in the registration. And to that extent, I can sue anybody anywhere in the world. It cost money, but it was worth it.
Okay, we'll talk about branding and marketing later in Ghana football or Ghana sports itself. But do you think the measure of sports and creation by the president is the best in a while?
Youth is a political thing. You understand? Because youth, the philosophy of what they want and all, is not the same as business. Yeah. So sports and creation itself is business. I had done the definitions and things. You understand? And if you understand it that way, now the minister's job is to create the enabling environment for people to appreciate. To start with, almost every event in Ghana should be registered. You understand? At Register General, they have a whole department for that, images. You understand? It's next to Tourism Board. But you need to go there, and whatever image you have, you register it. And every event should also be registered. If you register the event name, nobody can use the name. And once you have that, it's easy for companies to buy into your event because they know they'll be protected by the registration of the name. So if you give them the logo to use to make money with their activities and all, they are protected by law. So that is a fundamental thing. The second is the fact that you own something doesn't mean that you should do everything about it. It's a mistake people do. I don't believe in that, okay, that all the money should come to you. No. There are people who can sell things faster than you. So give people opportunities to come and buy the rights of the images that you have to the event for them to be able to sell all kinds of things. Somebody will decide that I would pack biscuits and brand it and sell within that period. Then you make more money. Just as to it did. Even the hockey, you had the same effect. You understand? And they could have done the same thing with the Africa Games. Because of the way you conceive it. You understand? So that is for me, that's a fundamental flaw. Whatever you say. Okay. No, I've said it that way because we've had some discussions. Okay. And I think his head is screwed on well. He has a sense of appreciation. He has a sense of history. Okay, because there are so many young people in politics now that I could trace their history from when they were student leaders at the universities, and then I met them and I looked at them, and now they are ministers, and when we meet and I look at them, I say, so that was what you were doing, that's why you were crisscrossing there. It's fascinating how they've all turned out, and I know they will do everything right, they won't get it wrong.
Okay. Well, we are still in the presence of Mr. Rex Magnus Danquah, discussing several issues, with most of them being on sports. Okay, let's look at Ghana football and talk about security, which is very, very important these days. It's not a good story to tell. As a FA, I mean that you've done football for a very long time. As a FA, what must they do, first of all, before we talk about security, what must they do to attract people to come to the various stadiums where we play the Ghana football? It's not looking good. The pitches are terrible. Attendance are abysmal. Everything it doesn't look good with Ghana football. What must they do now?
You can't answer unless you go back. You understand? You can't answer unless you go back. In my youthful days, I could remember people go to Secondary Jendu Park with their cars. Lebanese and all kinds of people. And at the stadium, bet with their cars. And lose the bet and leave their cars there with the keys to the person who has won. And take a train that works to take you to Kumasi in the night. The train works. Everything works. You understand? That passion has dropped to the point that people aren't interested anymore. And to get back to those days, there's a lot of work to be done. You need to let people have the confidence of coming back to watch. There are too many stories of, and this was paid, and this is a fee that, no. You can't have prosperity within that framework.
Let me push you again. Assuming the FA people approach you as a consultant on how to attract people back to the stadiums, what would you tell them?
I don't think they will approach me, for one. But then I know that it's a process. The only thing that is undermining the same process and desires that they have is that most people will want their players to go out and then make the money and bring. If there's any one thing they will have to do, is that any player you register for Ghana football, at least the person should play for about 3 years minimum or 4 years minimum in the league. Because the players attract us. You go, the next day, he's playing in Europe. That's why people don't go anymore. You understand? I was having a discussion with the old players are friends. I'll say Kofi Parent, and so we talk. You understand? Because when they were playing, I was that little and troublesome. And it's just security of salary. You understand? And the person will play, and then the conditions. Because I remember those days, they will just promise you a car, Eduse and Co. and Tommy Thompson and all, and then you will switch clubs. And your whole commitment was to that. When Hasselhoff come to Kumasi to play Kotoko, they stay at KNUST. We were students. We fetch water and things for them to take their bath, go and watch their training and all. University students. Now even primary school, they won't go. It means we need to look at it again. We need to get it right because it's an attraction. It's like they add to the soul of a nation. You understand? That's why they are so. It's like point of death. You understand? Because I have clubs that because of chiefs I talk to them and all, and sometimes they call you at midnight, and it's just a simple matter, and they are not ready to even sleep until you talk and go and talk to the player and come back and talk to them again. They just want to be heard. And make sure that when you have a player that attracts people to come and watch matches, you don't sell a player mid-season. When is that player that attracts people to the stadium? We need to look at it again.
Okay. Let's talk about the sports bill before we leave here. Have you done justice to it, the sports bill?
Sometimes I don't even know what to say. Part of that bill, the last one, yeah, I was at the hotel and all, and we worked on it. We saw some flaws because there were politicians. I wanted to change it. They insisted, and we left it. Now you look back and you see that it's flawed. But most importantly, it's now sports and recreation. It means you have to amend it in a way, and I think it's one of the first things that the Honorable Minister will have to look at. Look at the Sports Act within the context of the two joined together, sports and recreation. Because now it's strictly business. That's what it seeks to do. Strictly business. Because recreation is business. And then you come back to keep it. It has to come now to the forefront. It also means that now people will have to do sweatshirts and all kinds of things locally. Because if you are going to mass people into millions to follow this way of life every weekend and all, you are going to create a whole new industry. That has to be protected by law. And that is why every club should register its logo and its images and all kinds of things. People who have everything to do with sports should start the process. It takes a bit of time. Yeah. It's a bit expensive, but it protects you. And that's one thing I learned from 2 ways, where the rise to even jerseys and all was millions of dollars. It was paid. The person made more millions and had, even when we do not have team jerseys and things for Germany and things, that's what we use. You understand? So this is the fine opportunity to really turn sports and recreation into proper industry. And once we cross that line, you see a lot of changes.
Have you done very well in terms of branding in football? Have you done very well?
No, we haven't done too well.
Why?
Oh, but you can see it. You can see it. It's easy. You change jerseys. You understand? Because sometimes it's a gift. And because it's a gift, you can't even do anything. You have to use it. How do you then tell supporters that this is the jersey? At least we can do about 2 years. You understand? So beginning of the 2 years, you launch the jerseys that will be used within the 2 years. Then replicas are available. People will buy them. But you wear a jersey, you go to the stadium and it's something different. That's the first time you have been seeing it and has nothing to do with your club. Supporters play fetish. If you do things the way they want, it doesn't matter that every 2 years they have to buy a new jersey because the old jersey has been changed. They will do that. You understand? It doesn't matter how many miles they have to cover to go and watch a match. Because we do it even in the secondary schools. I ran to go and watch house matches everywhere. From secondary school. You understand? So the passion is there, but except that we are not doing the business of it well. Okay. And then we need to go back and look at it again.
Over there is Manchester United. Are you happy with what you're seeing at Old Trafford these days?
They've turned African managers. What? You change manager every time over small things. Somebody comes in with the money like before, and he thinks that it should change this way, that way. Manchester was a fetish like Liverpool and all because for a certain way that the club was managed. If you start changing it, it will take you years to go back. So they are in the wilderness. They haven't come to the city yet.
Okay. Are they failing to adopt a tradition in Manchester?
It's not tradition because tradition changes. You understand? I don't know why Ferguson gave up at the point that he did. But Ferguson understood the culture of Manchester and then also understood the way of play. You understand? Just like Hearts Olympics those days, they have this, what they call, you call for a goal. So when they start shouting in a certain corner, as if by design or occult or fetish, they'll score. It's the way the club is. Now it's not like that anymore. There are too many changes. There's no stability. And we need to... The people who are making it have a bit of stability. Yeah. You understand? Even when City was thundering, he knew he didn't have to go. Yeah. He stayed there, he's trying to stabilize it. But it's life. You are not at the top always. Sometimes.
Finally, let's talk about sports betting. Has it been a development agency or maybe a curse for Ghana football?
I don't know which the curse is. we're trying the betting for local matches, but it didn't work too well for good reason. As for cash and all, I'm not too sure, but people like taking risk. It's a normal life. If you do a profile of the people in betting, you'll be surprised. You might even see a pastor there or a church chorister there. So then what right do you have to question anybody? You understand? What is important is that do the right thing, and then everybody gets sort of benefits. Because sometimes to add things together, it's not as simple as it looks. When you have a family and you're going to reopen school and you do all your calculations and it's not going the way it's going, and you can't be a thief, there's only one option.
That's been very philosophical, your answer over there. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Res Danquah. You've done justice to most of the questions we asked over here. We can only wish you well as you celebrate your 70th anniversary, and hoping that you grow more and more and contribute to the development of sports here in Ghana. Thank you very much for reaching us. Well, my name is Phil John Quartey. Just like you just heard me, I've been speaking to the man who knows, when it comes to sports, marketing, branding, and public relations here with regards to sports here in Ghana. Thank you for watching.